Hey, the developers actually took one of my big suggestions, which is to make it so that reports can actually show a summary of everything that's happened, instead of having to sort through dozens and dozens of small battles to figure it out. So in this video, I'm going to go over everything developers shared in their January 2023 developer feedback session. And since they are listening to some of the feedback that I've provided in the past, I'm going to go and make a few more suggestions just in case you're watching this video. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and it's no secret that periodically, typically every like 3 to 6 months, I make some videos with suggestions about what to do with Rise of Kingdoms to improve the game. And in this developer Q&A, although I'm not the person who actually asked one of these questions, they directly went and are doing one of the things that I suggested, which is freaking sweet. So in this video, we're going to review all of the things that the developers have shared for their January 2023 developer feedback, and I'm going to share some things that I think would be pretty dope. Number 1, delay the launch of More Than Gems for a week. It's unfair that some kingdoms get the chance to buy things and upgrade the building already at the event. Okay, let me interject and say this is related to the launch of the formation system and the timing of it being in some kingdoms when the developers were testing how it would work in KVK versus when it arrived to the rest of the kingdoms. So some kingdoms at the very launch of the State Forum and formations had a More Than Gems event. So they got to buy all their sages' testimonies during More Than Gems. I benefited from this. It was really, really good. My suggestion at the time was like, hey, maybe like throw another More Than Gems out there so that the people who, are like getting the formation system later than we are can also benefit. That didn't happen, and the developer response is, our dev team is continuing to optimize event schedules. However, More Than Gems event is currently in its ideal interval. So basically they're saying like, hey, look, the event happens when it happens. Some people got lucky and everybody else didn't. And like, it just is what it is. Number 2 on the list, give each city a shield after all updates to avoid zeros for governors who cannot log in after the update. I think this is a great suggestion. The developer response is, thank you for your valuable feedback. After careful deliberation, we have decided to enable shields for cities in the case of an extended update in the future. So what this means is it's on you if the update is scheduled and runs as scheduled, but it's on us, the developers, if the update runs longer, and in that case, we'll give you a peace shield. So I think that's a fair answer. So you still need to watch out for what your city is up to around the time of an update. If you need to use a shield, like use your shield, be proactive. And it's still you still need to play very defensively. Let me say it like that. Please add a few choices of color codes for Alliance calendar entries so we can color code various activities. That's a cool idea. Color coding would make it a lot easier to look at things at a glance. I often look at the calendar for like one thing, and it's the Khal Karak bosses. That's like the only time I look at our Alliance calendar. But they say, thank you for your valuable suggestion. We will take it into consideration when we optimize the Alliance calendar interface in the future. It's a fair suggestion. Color coding is a, thing. So great. Okay, up next. More changes possible to the city layout, turning buildings clockwise, counterclockwise, extra roads, more decorations. Allow us to create our dream city in all caps. Okay, the dev response. We definitely resonate with governors' passion to decorate their cities with an exclamation point. We will definitely discuss more ways for governors to individualize their city layout. In the meantime, we encourage governors to always check out the ever-growing collection of special-themed ornaments for each festival. So collect the holiday decorations if you want to customize your city is kind of the answer there, but also that they also value this and they may do something in the future. I think rotation of buildings is like probably not something they're going to do. I mean, I think they sort of allude to it here. They're like, yeah, the most likely thing is we just put out more decorations. That sounds about right to me, but I think rotating would be a cool idea. Up next, display a summary session on the battle reports where if more fights appear, you'll see the total troop loss and power loss on one side. This is what I was describing at the beginning of the video, by the way. And the same stats for the other side as well. Many people are curious about how good they did for example, in a murder ball. Otherwise, it takes time to go through all the reports to not even get an easy answer. And that's totally true. So, for example, if you're in a big individual fight in a murder ball, as described here, wouldn't it be nice if there was a summary of like all 10 of the armies that you hit? Summary at the top. How many sev wounds did you take? How many sev wounds did you inflict? Would be amazing. I have talked about this multiple times as being super cool, especially in the context of big rallies and big garrisons. Because you look at these reports and like you have to manually add it up. So it might not look nearly as impressive as it would have been otherwise. And this, to me, feels like something squarely the developers should do. It brings hype to the big fights, and they say, yes, this is a great suggestion. We've planned to roll out this exact feature in a future update. Big win. So actually, that's super cool. I love these answers, and I like that they chose most of these questions. The first one, I don't know, it feels like we sort of passed the window where this is something that we're still talking about. But I think most of these are pretty interesting. But there were only 5 things here. So I came up with a couple other things in conjunction with a few members from my kingdom in 1254. Cheers, I appreciate you, by the way. So here are the things that I would hope the developers talk about in future face-to-face with the developers or future Q&As. The first thing I would ask is, would it be possible to reduce the randomness associated with crafting and with armaments? That would be the first thing I would ask. Now, with equipment, and let me jump in game to show this to you. One simple way you could reduce randomness with equipment would be to make it so that as you refine an item, you get some of the stats commensurate with the amount of the refine you have. So for example, if I have 50% refine, which I do here, I would get 50% of the way toward having the talent, right? That would be a nice incremental feeling of progression as opposed to, hey, I have a progress bar, but it's 0 actual bonus until you get to the full talent. That would be a nice reduction of randomness. Of course, reduction of randomness towards getting your special talents would also be pretty nice, but that might be asking too much. And without opening the entire can of worms, which I recognize I'm sort of doing anyways, armaments are entirely randomness. I would love to see this move in the direction of less randomness. The developers have already said they're looking at this. So let's look at the next thing that I think I would suggest to the developers, which is, would it be possible to let people pick who they're going to fight for matchmaking in KVK? And you know, look, there are some big KVKs going down, which is really awesome. It's been a while since we've seen a really massive KVK like we have with 1960. Card will be up in the top if you haven't seen my video explaining everything that's happening here. I'll remind you at the end, but this is an important one. Big KVKs like this happen only because players go through great efforts to try to make them happen. And you often end up in fights where maybe the opponent is not as committed to actually playing the KVK as you are. I know this from personal experience. So all that to say, I think it would be awesome if we could get a look at how matchmaking happens. And would it be possible to pick who we're fighting? Next thing I've mentioned is something multiple times, but I'll mention it again because maybe this is a video that, you might be listening to, which is that it'd be really nice to lift the help cap. I've been watching my boy Plato Gaming slugging it out in a KVK, all right, in 2268 against 1021 and 1044, and the dude is runs out of helps. I don't know how he does it in 6 hours. He's out of helps. And then he's full healing with no helps. It's brutal. I appreciate that the help cap is here and you put it in for a reason. But would it be possible to lift the help cap? 200 more helps? 500 more helps? 1,000 more helps? That would be freaking sweet. Next question is, would it be possible to alleviate resource needs and resource inflation? What do I mean by that? You used to go into a KVK with 6 billion resources and you were a god among gods. You were the god of the gods because you had 6 billion, baby. That was so many resources. You could do so much. These days, 6 billion doesn't go very far. It's crazy how fast you can burn through resources if you're open field fighting, especially for players that are not teched up to get the healing cost reductions, which are freaking massive. So would it be possible to get a look at the sort of weird resource inflation going on? This could just be that were in, I don't know, tougher and tougher KVKs, and that's like an Imperium Kingdom problem. I would believe that. I would definitely believe that. But it would be pretty cool to get back like a percentage of speed ups and resources used from each KVK for healing in order to play more KVKs faster. Whatever, you get the idea. Looking for maybe alleviation of resource costs and speed up costs so that we can fight more, play more, have less downtime between KVKs. Next point of feedback or question is, would it be possible for the Kingdom Exile option to actually work in your home kingdom? Now, today, one rogue player can absolutely, top to bottom, dominate an endgame zone for as long as they want, and there's literally nothing anyone can do about it. And you may think, Chisgule, that's crazy, but let me explain how this works. Basically, the rogue player lets themselves get sort of soft zeroed or full zeroed down to having just a hospital capacity worth of troops, or they hide their troops somewhere potentially. But anyways, they get down to being able to make it so that people can hit their city and it doesn't matter. All that happens is their hospital fills up. Okay? No dead troops. So the people attacking the city are always getting dead troops. The defender never gets dead troops. And then what they do as the rogue player is they just run around the zone and kill farmers. And a single rogue player who is competent can shut down an entire endgame zone. And I do mean kind of shut down. So would it be possible for the exile function to teleport a city back to the starting zone? This could work if they're peace shielded. I would like it to work if they're not peace shielded as well. Just be like, hey, you're the rogue, get you out of here. And the thing is that this doesn't stop civil wars, because if there's a true civil war, they could always teleport to territory. A true rogue isn't in an alliance that has territory, so kicking them out of the zone, even just once, is huge. Then it's on the officers of the kingdom to not let them back into an alliance by accident and they get back into the zone. But even if this had like a 3-day cooldown, look, then players could solve that problem. I think that'd be amazing. The last question I would have is, do you think that sometime in the future we might see a 1v1 KVK format? A 1v1 KVK format, especially if you could pick who you're going to fight, could be pretty freaking cool. I would like to see that. And let me know your thoughts down below in the comments with the kingdoms you'd love to see slug it out in a 1v1 KVK format, baby. But I'm also eager for your thoughts in the comments if there's any other things that you would like to see answered in a developer Q&A. And if you've enjoyed this video, do me a favor and throw a like onto the video. It supports the channel tremendously, and consider subscribing for daily Rise of Kingdoms videos designed to help you get value and smash your enemies. I'm pretty hyped to see that they are adding the report information in a summary. And if you want to see more information about that KVK I was describing, the huge slugfest that's going down, card will be in the end screen in just a second.